Yeah, so I don't want to come off like a Dr. Phil, but I think there does need to be a change in believing that we can, whatever we want we can get, or whatever we want we should get, um, and and I that apparatus was built a long time ago, and people, employees and some unions still feel as though they should be getting what they were getting back then. You know, with Philadelphia, and I'm sure with a lot of municipalities, the biggest cost for out of their budget is pensions and benefits for the union organized groups, and they keep those costs keep going up, especially the healthcare costs. So there's got to be a change, I believe, in thinking, and I believe with Obama, President Obama in office, he at least symbolizes that need to change. I mean, he's called for that in his inaugural address. You know, we can't keep doing things the old way, and just because we did them that way. So there does need to be a change, and I believe that because of the pain we're getting through the recession, that psychological change may be easier to do than before.
That said, when this show airs, the president will be just getting his feet wet in the Oval Office. I mean, he'll just be sitting down, looking at the chairs. Matter of fact, we saw the pictures in the Inquirer the other day with him, with Rahm Emanuel standing over him, cross legs. He's sitting there, looks really comfortable. What are your thoughts on our new president? I mean, is he a celebrity? I mean, is he a rock star, a messiah? You know, wave a magic wand, a magician? It seems he's expected to work just miracles out there to fix the economy.
Yeah, he is, but he's just a man. You know, he's a man who was able to tune into what this country needed and was able to talk about ideas that this country wanted to hear. He developed a philosophy that this country really wants to follow, and that was apparent by his win back in November. I think he's got an enormous burden on his shoulders, because people have portrayed him as, just as you've described. He's either a rock star, a celebrity, a magician, or the messiah, whatever, and that's a lot of pressure for one man to be under. And by nature of what he does, by nature of being president, he's going to do some things that not everybody's going to be happy with. And I think once that begins to happen, people will get a more realistic sense of what he's doing and who he is. I think the thing that we really have to keep in mind is that this was a historic election. And there's some critics who say, well, he's got too much attention, and why you wouldn't have 2 million people in Washington, D.C. if he was the first Italian president, and all this other ridiculous stuff. But the point is, this is the first time a man of color has held the most powerful office in the world, not the country, but the world. The United States is still the most powerful country in the world if it uses its diplomacy correctly. And I think we're going to get that with Hillary Clinton and the philosophy that, yes, we're big and we're strong, but we're not here to bully anybody. We're here to see justice done and try to get some peace in this world. So he's just a man. He needs a lot of prayer. But I think what he represents is an idea that a lot of Americans have wanted to have for a long, long time.
Indeed. Well, let's stay here with politics at this point. I mean, nationally, President Obama, almost about a year ago, after he had won the Iowa caucuses, said this. He said, "Hope is that thing inside us. Hope is that thing inside us that insists that something better awaits us if we have the courage to reach for it." What's he hoping for?
Well, my first reaction is change, but that sounds so pedestrian. I think he addressed that in his inaugural speech. I think he wants us to get back to our way of letting what we were created, how we were created, and the basis of our creation to rule how we act, not that we act out of fear, not that we start abandoning the Constitution because of something that a very tragic event that happened on September 11th. Not that we start stop giving the rights to prisoners because of what happened September 11th. I'm talking about Gitmo, and suddenly changing the rules of the game because we think these guys are the terrorists who have been out to get us, and that they don't deserve the kind of justice that we want Americans to have if we were captured by the other countries. So I think that he wants to get this country, he wants to get America back on the footing and the standing that it once had as a powerful country with decent ideas, and it's strong enough not to allow those ideas to fall victim to fear. And this country for a long, long time has really been run on fear, and we need to change that. And I believe that's what he would like us to do.
Actually, he had mentioned something to the effect of the false premise of trading in our security for our ideals. In other words, being safe, but trading in the ideals. So you're saying, and considering the pushback that's going on now with the executive order with Gitmo.
Right.
I think we're giving it a year's time to close it off,
right.
And trying to develop and actually set up a commission to develop the plans to close it off. There's a lot of people out there that would come back to you and say, but these folks killed us. And there's a lot of these people that I'm not going to have interested in being in my backyard, being held at a detention center. I want something done with them, and I don't know if I have a problem with Gitmo. What would you say to people? Well,
that's the easy way out. I mean, it's easy to collect these guys and say, you all did bad things. I mean, there hasn't been a trial yet, so we don't know whether they were involved with it or not. And I guess maybe I'm bringing my idealistic United States of America ideas to the kind of justice that I think everybody should have. But what we've gone through this with this past administration has been a sense that the bad guys, we got to get the bad guys no matter how we get them, and then once we get them, we can do whatever the heck we want to with them. And that's just not the way a country that's confident in itself, that has an enormous amount of power, has to operate. And that, I believe, is what President Obama is trying to get us back to. And to me, it doesn't matter if these prisoners are in Gitmo or as I think it was Murphy who said that if they needed a place, they could probably have it here in Western Pennsylvania to hold
John Murphy.
Right, to hold them. I don't think that's an issue either. I mean, there are many counties, I'm sorry, that are really crying out for prisons. I mean, we have a very strong prison industrial complex in this country, and counties want to build prisons because it's a tax base, not only the tax base, but it becomes jobs for other people. So I don't think that's as much of a concern as just making sure that these people, if they are terrorists, can get their just due. And we can be proud and say we gave them a trial, they were guilty or not guilty, and then go from there.
So as you've stated, that is certainly a key item on the agenda. What are the other items out there that you think the president should accomplish in the first 100 days, maybe even the first year?
Yeah, that's tough because he's got so much coming at him. My sense is, we spoke about the economy, trying to at least trigger a sense that things are going to be coming around, and again, I don't think that'll happen for another, probably for 2 years before it comes around. We've got I think it's also important that he reestablished the United States internationally as the country that it once was, and Hillary's got her plate full on that. I think it'll be much easier with Hillary because she has established relationships with foreign dignitaries and people from other countries, and knows how to. She's been there, and so it's not like she has to introduce herself and start from scratch.
You think she'll ever run for president again?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Secretary of State.
I mean, look at if you're in a position like that, Secretary of State, you are the spokesperson for the greatest country in the world. I mean, and you can affect so many things in that position. I don't see why she would even want to venture back into the nasty political world that she left. She could leave Secretary of State and then lecture somewhere and make money like her husband. So I don't think she'll be running for president again.
So she'll stick around. She'll stay in for the 4 years, if possibly 8 years, you would think.